Hey everyone, Josh here, and we're going to do an unboxing video today. Today we're going to unbox an Imperial Hovertank pilot from Rogue One. And as you can see here, this guy is a Toys R Us exclusive. So let's take him over to the toy studio and rip this thing open. Let's go. Alright guys, here we are with a Black Series Hovertank pilot, Imperial Hovertank pilot. And for those of you who might notice, there's a little shiny sticker on here, and what that is telling you that this is a Toys R Us exclusive. And just to let you know, I picked this guy up on Force Friday when everyone was focused on The Last Jedi stuff. I went over and picked up some Rogue One items as well, and I'd never seen this guy before because he's a Toys R Us exclusive. And so I, of course, picked a couple up. So let's unbox this guy. But before we get into that, I just want to spin the packaging around real quick and let you have a look at it. And what you'll notice right off the bat, or at least any Black Series collector will notice, is he does not have a number. Now, most Black Series characters, when you buy them, here's a Captain Cassian Andor box. They have numbers on them. They're numbered. And he's 23. And you'll see the Hovertank pilot is not. And the reason for that is, the way it was explained to me is that the ones that are store exclusives, for example, the Toys R Us exclusive, and I don't know if you guys can see that real quick. I'll just bring the sticker a little bit closer so you can see it. Toys R Us exclusive. The ones that are exclusive to a particular store, they're not numbered. And I'm not sure exactly what the reason is, but that's what it was explained to me, why the box does not have a number on it. So anyway, moving on. You'll see here there's a little description of him, and I'll go ahead and read that. Imperial combat drivers operate the Empire's arsenal of armored repulsor vehicles. Combat drivers are lightly armored, relying instead on the thick skin of their vehicles to protect them in battle. And for those of you who don't recognize this character right off bat, as far as I know, he made his very first appearance in Rogue One, and when they were on the planet Jeddah, when they were getting the Kyber crystals, it looked very much like the desert planet in Episode 4, but when they had that big firefight with all the Imperials, and you saw those hover tanks, these were the guys driving the hover tanks. So that's where these characters make their appearances in Rogue One. And let's get into this thing. I want to handle this guy. Alright. Very cool. I like it already. And one thing I'm going to let any of you guys out there know, I'm starting to learn about these Rogue One figures. When you take them out of the box, or not Rogue One, Black Series, excuse me. I'm doing a lot of Rogue One figures today. When you pop these weapons out of here, they will fly out. So you need to catch them in your hand. They will literally shoot across the room. So there you can see his weapon. Very cool, Imperial blaster. And let's get him out of there. Very cool. And there he is, everyone. I'll go ahead and real quick, I'll just spin him around so you guys can get a look at him. And there is another figure out there that I actually did a video on that's called the AT-ACT driver, which is the driver of the Imperial Walkers in Rogue One. And these characters look very similar. They're almost identical. In fact, I had trouble telling them apart myself when I first purchased them. But real quick, I actually have the other figure here, and I want to put them next to each other so you can see the difference. So this is the AT-ACT driver, the Imperial Walkers in Rogue One, and this is the Hovertank pilot. And if you look very closely, you'll see there is slight differences in their helmets. He has this little vent part in the front that looks almost like a biker scout, and he does not. And then if you look at the eyepieces as well, his eyepiece is a little bit bigger, his is a little bit smaller. And one other difference you're going to notice about him here, if you look, and it may not come across on camera, but their pants are slightly different colors. These are a gray color, and his are like a grayish brownish color, kind of like a gray brown. And I'm not sure it's coming across on camera all that well, but in person, I assure you, they're a little bit different. And then the other difference you're going to notice about them, or at least that I noticed, is the AT-ACT driver has paint schemes on his armor. He's got his shoulders painted gray and black, you can see there, and he has a gray stripe across his chest. He has the Imperial emblem on his visor, and he has a little red emblem on the middle of his armor right there. But to be completely honest with you, other than that, these figures are almost identical. You can see there's a slight difference in the back of their helmet. His helmet comes, the AT-ACT driver has a red emblem on the back and another little black emblem there, and some dashes or some striping. And his is just got a little bit of striping on it, the Hovertank pilot. And if you look, it's not real huge. There's a little flare out on the Hovertank pilot's helmet, where the AT-ACT driver, it goes straight down. So they're not identical, but they are very close to each other. So just be aware of that if you're out looking for these guys, or you're shopping online or whatever, and you decide to pick one of these up. There are slight differences. AT-ACT driver, Hovertank pilot. And we are here today to talk about the Hovertank pilot. So let's look at him more closely. And other thing too, these two characters do come with the almost same weapon, except one is a little bit darker. The other AT-ACT driver, his blaster is the same blaster, it's just a little bit darker color. So just so you guys know the differences and what you're getting into if you decide to buy. But real quick here, let's look at his blaster, and you can see it's very similar to what the Stormtroopers carry, but except looks like it has a little bit bigger scope on it, and there's this little, what appears to be like a laser sight almost. I'm not sure what that is, but there's another extra little piece on it in the front there. Okay, and real quick here, I just want to point out too, I'm really impressed with the quality of these Black Series figures. And you'll notice on his hand where he's holding the gun, he actually has his trigger finger out, and it lines up very nicely with the trigger guard of the gun. So I just have to say, overall, if you're going to decide to get into purchasing Black Series figures, I'd say that's a good thing to do, because these are very high quality. I haven't been doing it myself very long, collecting these Black Series figures, but I am very impressed. I've been collecting Star Wars figures for, I hate to admit this, over 20 years, but when I started collecting these Black Series figures, I am very impressed with the quality. So, alright, let's look at his movements a little bit. So he does have head movement, up and down, and side to side. You can, yeah, looks like he can spin his head all the way around. Very cool. And shoulder movement here. You got up, down, and round and round. And it does look like you got to be careful. It looks like his little shoulder armor will catch on the chest armor a little bit. See, there you go. It's catching that time. You got to make sure it goes under there. Okay. And let's see here. We have elbow movement, of course. Round and round, and up and down. Let's put this gun down so we can see it. Movement's a little better. Okay, and then we do have wrist movement as well. Here we got up and down. And most of these characters, they have two directionals on the wrist, and this guy does too, but it's just limited the wrist movement a little bit because of the armor hits the wrist, but his hands do rotate. So that's very cool. And then you have chest movement, and you'll see the movement is underneath the plated armor there. So he moves forward and he leans back a little bit. There's not a lot of movement there, but he does move. And then you get a little bit of side to side also. And then looking at his hips, you see you have up and down and side to side. So, but they do spread apart when you sit him down. So I don't know how he's going to sit in the tank like that. And then, let's see here. Knee movement. And one thing you will find out when you open these Black Series, that some of the joints, like the knee joints, they're a little stiff, but once you get them going, they work fine. So there you go. You have knee movement. And then you have ankle movement. And you can see it, they go side to side, like left and right. And then you have up and down movement as well. But, all right, guys. Let's get the blaster in his hand. And we'll spin him around one more time. Let you guys take a look at him. And there he is, everyone. From Rogue One, this is the Black Series Hovertank Pilot. And a Toys R Us exclusive also. And thanks for watching, everyone. I appreciate it. Bye.